Hey everyone, this is Michael again and coming at you with another video. And I was going to do this video yesterday when the news broke, but didn't have the time, and plus I had to work. So going to give you guys this video today, this little breaking news. But the news broke out yesterday that Bray Wyatt has been released by WWE. They released Bray Wyatt because of budget cuts. And when I saw the news yesterday, I was at work when I saw it, and I was like shocked. And at the same time, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? When the news broke out. But WWE, in my opinion, fucked up on this. They really did. They let go of one of their best superstars. They're on the roster. But Bray Wyatt is one of my favorites, and he's a good wrestler. I know there are some people out there, they're like, oh yeah, Bray Wyatt can't wrestle. Bray Wyatt can't wrestle. If you think Bray Wyatt can't wrestle, go and watch his match at Royal Rumble 2014 against Daniel Bryan. That match is one of the best matches in Bray Wyatt's career there. That match was very good. Hell, even the match that they had last year at the Royal Rumble, the strap match for the Universal Championship, where it was Bray Wyatt as the Fiend, and he faced Daniel Bryan. It was a good match. Wasn't as good as their 2014 match, but still, it was entertaining. But Bray Wyatt started out, I remember when he was known as Husky Harris when he came into NXT. That was at the time where NXT was like a competition where they had to have these guys go around. They had a pro, they had a superstar pro, and Cody Rhodes was the pro for Bray Wyatt at that time. And that NXT, was like a competition where they had to lift some stuff. They had to run around the ring, jump around. It was like basically an American Gladiators type thing that they did for NXT. Those were, in my opinion, the dark days of NXT. And then he was in the Nexus for a year. He made his debut in the Nexus alongside Curtis Axel at Hell in a Cell 2010, where they interfered in the match between John Cena and Wade Barrett. And Bray Wyatt and Curtis Axel ended up giving Wade Barrett the win over John Cena. And so, like I said, he was in the Nexus for a year. And in 2013, in the summer of 2013, he made his re-debut with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. And, of course, they were known as the Wyatt family. And I really liked the Wyatt family there. It was different for WWE. The music that they had when they came out was very creepy and awesome. You had the fans, taking out their phones, using the flashlights on their phone. And basically they called them the Fireflies. And Bray Wyatt used to come out, of course, with the lantern. I thought it was very awesome. It was very different for WWE. The one moment that I always remember when I think of the Wyatt family is their little feud with The Shield in 2014. I'll never forget the Monday Night Raw where you had the Wyatts standing on one side of the ring and The Shield were standing on the other side, and they just all had a stare down. They didn't even say anything. The crowd was chanting, "This is awesome," which set us up for their match at Elimination Chamber. And come Elimination Chamber, we got the match with the Wyatts and The Shield, and it was an awesome match. The crowd really enjoyed this match. They were hyped up as soon as the match got started, which to me, WWE gave us that match a little early. I think they should have held that match off until WrestleMania because, in my opinion, the Wyatt family versus The Shield was a WrestleMania worthy match. But they didn't want to give us the match at WrestleMania, so we got it at Elimination Chamber, which, like I said, to me, we got that match a little too early. They should have kept that for WrestleMania. But it was a great match, and the crowd was really into it. Of course, you had Braun Strowman later on. He was part of the Wyatt family. That was when Braun Strowman had the long hair. So, and then of course you had him later on in 2019. Well, before I get to that, of course he was the WWE champion at that time, where Bray Wyatt ended up winning the title by defeating Cena and Styles, The Miz, and Baron Corbin in the Elimination Chamber. He won the WWE Championship in the Elimination Chamber, only to lose it to Randy Orton, only to lose the title to Randy Orton. And then, of course, that went from Randy Orton holding the WWE Championship to Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal ended up winning the WWE Championship by defeating Orton. And, of course, Jinder Mahal is one of the worst WWE champions of all time. He killed SmackDown at that time in 2017. But Bray Wyatt only lasted 49 days as a WWE champion. And, you know, when he won the WWE Championship, I was like, oh, yeah, they're going to give Bray Wyatt a push, a big push. They're going to, you know, push him to the moon because WWE sees something in Bray Wyatt. No, they lost. They missed that opportunity, and they took the title off of him only to give it to Randy Orton. They gave it to Randy Orton at WrestleMania 33, where he defeated Bray Wyatt, and then it went to Jinder Mahal. And like that whole reign with Jinder Mahal as a WWE champion, fucking terrible. And then in 2017, 2018, Bray Wyatt was tag team champions with Matt Hardy. First, they were feuding together, and then all of a sudden, WWE just paired them as a tag team. And they won the Raw Tag Team titles at the Greatest Royal Rumble, where they defeated Cesaro and Sheamus. And then the next year in 2019, that was when The Fiend ended up debuting his Fiend character, the introduction of the Firefly Funhouse, which I was, you know, a big fan of The Fiend. You know, I have the Chalkline jacket, the Chalkline apparel jacket of The Fiend, have the Elite. Big fan of the character. And WWE did not know how big that The Fiend character was going to be. They did not know. And it was one of the best selling merchandise on WWE Shop, you know, with the shirts, from the mask that they sold, because they sold, you know, the Fiend mask. You know, it was the hottest selling merchandise on WWE Shop with the Fiend. So he made his debut. The Fiend made its debut on Monday Night Raw, where he attacked Finn Balor. That set up their match at SummerSlam 2019, where the Fiend ended up defeating Balor. And then we had later on that year the shitty Hell in a Cell match, where the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, ended up taking on Seth Rollins, which the match ended in disqualification, which was fucking stupid on WWE's part. Seth Rollins ended up burying the Fiend, you know, with the weapons, and he was hitting the sledgehammer on the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, which caused the crowd to cause an uproar. And at the end of that pay-per-view, there was a video saying, "Oh, we want a refund from the crowd." You know, the crowd was chanting, "We want refunds. This sucks." That whole match was fucking terrible. And then, you know, there was kind of a resurgence for the Fiend there. And, of course, later on, he had that match with Goldberg at Super Showdown, which killed the Fiend. It pretty much destroyed the Fiend there, where you had Goldberg going over the Fiend, picking up the win. Terrible. The Fiend was dead at that point when Goldberg defeated him. And then, of course, you had Alexa Bliss come into the picture. And pretty much after that, Bray Wyatt was off TV. You know, after WrestleMania 37. He did not show up after WrestleMania. And thus he was off TV, and his release was made official yesterday. But I have some news about Bray Wyatt. Fortunately, I got to touch on this stupid news because this is how stupid some of the IWC fans are online, where fans were blaming Alexa Bliss for Bray Wyatt's release. What? Why the fuck are you blaming Alexa Bliss for Bray Wyatt's release? Are you kidding me? Oh, this is why I don't get some fans in the IWC when they do this stupid shit, when they say this stupid shit. Unbelievable. Blaming Alexa Bliss. What does Alexa Bliss have to do with Bray Wyatt's release? Then I have another piece of news where the reason was given for Bray Wyatt's release. And this is coming from Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer reported that Bray Wyatt's release, even though the company gave a budget cuts reason, the reason Bray Wyatt was fired was because Bray Wyatt was told by John Laurinaitis, people power, that his release was due to budget cuts, and they were preparing. Bray Wyatt was preparing for his return, but unfortunately, that is not going to come to be. So yeah, he was told by John Laurinaitis his release was due to budget cuts. And there was also a report that Bray Wyatt was frustrated with WWE prior to his release. I don't blame him. Look at what WWE has done. Let's be honest, WWE has fucked up Bray Wyatt not once, but twice with his gimmicks. They fucked him up when he was in the Wyatt family, when he won the WWE Championship, only to lose it to Randy Orton at WrestleMania, and they fucked him up as The Fiend by making him lose to Goldberg at Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia. I don't blame Bray Wyatt for being frustrated. So that was the article that came out of that. It was addressed by Sean Ross Sapp, that he said this. He said he was told that he's not been all in on wrestling as of late. Bray Wyatt has not been all in on wrestling as of late. And he ended up saying, I don't know how true that is because I have not spoken to Bray as of yet. Which Sean Ross Sapp was saying on a live Fightful podcast. But he said it was then reported that several people in the company said that they had not spoken to him. They had not spoken to Bray Wyatt that much as of late. He was at a couple of television events since his last appearance, but he also missed a lot of dates. He was also not shy about rejecting ideas he didn't like. So Sean Ross Sapp said right here, when things were passed his way that he wasn't necessarily keen on, I don't know what to say vocal, but he wasn't receptive to it from the people that I spoke to as well. This is all coming from Sean Ross Sapp. So, I don't blame Bray Wyatt for being frustrated with WWE. And then there was also another report about how him and Vince McMahon's relationship might have contributed to him getting released. There was a report from PW Insider, and it was noted that Bray Wyatt and Vince McMahon's relationship behind the scenes was very hot and cold at times, and that Vince McMahon had given Nick Khan the ability to run things far more than anyone else has historically. So, right there, Bray Wyatt's relationship with Vince McMahon, very hot and cold at times. There was some stuff probably Vince McMahon gave to Bray Wyatt that he liked, and some stuff that Vince gave to Bray Wyatt that he didn't. So it was mixed. It was very mixed relationship with Bray Wyatt and Vince McMahon there. So where I see Bray Wyatt going, I have to say Bray Wyatt would be an awesome fit for AEW. Hell, I could see if Bray Wyatt goes to AEW, he could be the new leader of the Dark Order. I could sense that happening. I could see Bray Wyatt being put with the Dark Order. He could be the new leader after, the passing of Brody Lee last year. I could see Bray Wyatt fitting perfectly into that role. So hopefully he signs with AEW and we could see him in that role. That would be the perfect role for him. So, but it's very shocking news that came out, with Bray Wyatt's release. But at the end of the day, can you blame him for being frustrated with WWE? So, but just had to get this news out, which I know probably all of you have heard the news from yesterday. But anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and until next video, see you all later.